Learn, laugh and live with Bolton U3A Choir.
My name's Paul Dyson. I'm the leader of the Bolton U3A Singing for Pleasure group. I'm sitting here amongst all these empty chairs because I'm looking forward to seeing a full audience this afternoon for our concert. Bolton U3A Singing for Pleasure is one of the oldest groups in the U3A Bolton. Some of our choir have been in it right from the beginning, back in the 90s. Since COVID, we haven't been all that active, but this is our first performance, so this is a real landmark for us today. We used to, before COVID, do quite a number of charity concerts each year in churches and other groups, and we haven't been able to do that since the lockdown. But we have become a little bit more active. We've twice sung at Victoria Hall for the Bolton Choirs Festival. And over the last year, our musical director, Wyn Conway, has made us much more confident, so we're ready to do a performance once again. The group meets twice a month, first and third Friday mornings, and we're just along the road at Claremont Church, which is a great venue for us. Our repertoire is a range of traditional folk and popular songs. Occasionally we venture into sacred melodies and even Latin lyrics. We're about 34 members at the moment, but we would like to grow. But we welcome all voices, soprano, alto and baritone. We don't make you do any auditions if you'd like to join us. All you need is the enthusiasm to enjoy singing with other people. So I'm going to go off now and join the choir as we get ready for our first concert for 5 years.
Now then, we're in for a real treat today. For those that don't know me, I don't know if there's anybody new here, but my name is Jan Kelly and I'm the chair of Bolton U3A. And today we're going to be entertained by our Singing for Pleasure group. Our names are here. Shall we give them a round of applause? Now, I don't know a lot about what they're going to sing, so I'm going to pass you over to Wyn, who's the musical director, and she'll tell us all about today's entertainment. Okay? There you go. Well, it's lovely to see so many people out here today. Well, you know, before the days of television and radio, our ancestors, they didn't sit watching a screen to be entertained. They did the job themselves. Isn't that right? And one of the favourite occupations of that was to have a sing-song. And that's what we're having today, really. We're going to sing the songs that were popular songs from beginning in the 1200s and going up to Victorian days. And if you want to sing along with us, please swell the sound. We'd be very happy. If you know the tune and you don't know the words, you sing la la la. We are a band. So the first song we have for you is Summer is a-Comin'in. And there. Now you see, as it says here, it's the oldest manuscript of an English secular song in existence. The manuscript is in the British Museum, and it was found in this monastery in Reading, and a monk called Brother John of Fornset wrote it out in 1226. Now it's a bit of a mystery why Brother John was writing out a secular song, because his job was to be writing the plain chant music used in the church services. Secular songs belonged to the peasants, the common people. They were not written down, because very little was written down before the Norman Conquest. And so all the songs were passed on by oral tradition. You know, you listened and you learned them and you sang them. But strangely enough, this manuscript was found, and therefore we have it. Summer is a-Comin'in is a celebration of summer coming in. Well, we thought it was earlier this week, and maybe it will come again. It's a celebration of the cuckoo and of new life in nature. Yeah? To notice is that the music is written on 6 lines and 5 spaces. And you know, if you've learned music in any way, that modern music is written on 5 lines and 4 spaces, don't you? But this was 6 lines and 5 spaces. And 5 lines and 4 spaces was not a God-given rule. It took a long, long time to establish what was the best way. And some time ago, there was an exhibition in St. Peter's library in Manchester of ancient manuscripts. And I went to see it, and I was astonished to see that there was all sorts of ways. It went as far as 10 lines and 9 spaces, you know, that had been experimented with. But of course, you're reading music very quickly. You've got to keep the beat, you know, you're moving, and to try and pick out your note from 10 lines and 9 spaces is very difficult. So obviously, in the end, 5 lines, 4 spaces was agreed as a good sort of thing to read. And the other thing is, you will notice that the notes here are square blobs. Whereas we expect notes to be round, don't we? Round notes. Why are they square blobs? Because the writer was writing on parchment with a quill. Yeah? And it was, the quill would be cut off with a, you know, straight at the end, you see? So he dips his quill in, and he hasn't got a point, so he goes, and that's little squares come out. And apparently that's an easy way to write on parchment. It's difficult to take a point and go rolling until you've got a round note at the end. So I just thought, I'm going to give you a historical background, and that's where it begins. So let's see the next one. Well, the next one is a very favourite tune of Greensleeves. Most people know this. Now, this is very ancient. It isn't known how ancient. We don't know the composer. Some people have supposed that Henry VIII wrote it, indeed sang it to Anne Boleyn. But as far as we know, this is a myth. We don't know who wrote it. It was registered for publication in 1500 and something, but that doesn't mean that that's when it dates from. Yeah? Why is it called Greensleeves? We don't really know, but it does late date, it is thought, from the 14 or 1500s. And the aristocratic ladies in those days wore dresses with enormous sleeves. Yeah? And they weren't stitched into the dress. They were separate, you know. They were pinned or they were stitched in, you know, just tacked for the back. So you could change your sleeves often. So maybe he loved her, especially when she was wearing green sleeves. We don't know really. But anyway, it's a wonderful song. It's a song of unrequited love. Unrequited love, I'm afraid, is a situation that's chimed into art, music and literature for as long as we know. I'd like you to know, by the way, that no people, no tribe, no community, no settlement has ever been found that didn't have music. Yeah? It goes right back as far as we go back. So, when we're delving back into maybe the last 1500 years, that's all modern times. The Greeks had plenty of music, the Romans. Before that, biblical days, David on the harp. Oh no. Right. Greensleeves. This is the chorus. Sing with us if you feel inclined.
Our
the invention of printing in the 13th onwards, it's a long time after that music was printed, because it was, you know, setting up the typescript in quite a different way to print music. So it took some time. But gradually it began to happen, and it was being printed by the end of the reign of Elizabeth. But how did people learn these traditional songs? They learned them by ear and oft by heart. Yeah? And they learned them because they were made public by these poor people, the broadside ballad sellers. And these people had copies from the publisher of the song. Not the music, the words of the song. And they were on like a loom roll, yeah. And the poor things had to sing on street corners, or like a man calling the news headlines from the paper. They had to sing them, and sing them very, very loudly, so that people passers by might think, oh, that's a nice song, I'd like a copy of that. And then they just ripped one off and gave it to them and took their copies for it. And that's how songs were published before they were published by publishers. So our song is The Lover and His Lass. And this, the slide indicates that the song would have been accompanied most likely on the lute or even the guitar, which was around in those days. Now we have a composer for this song, Thomas Morley, as you see, 1557 to 1602. So we're moving up. And Thomas Morley, I'll tell you a little bit about him. He was a very, very important composer in those days. He wrote over, it is thought, 2,000 songs, and this is the only one that we really know about now, except from a madrigal also. Anyway, he came from the humble origins as the son of a Norwich brewer of beer, and he rose up from being a choir boy in Norwich Cathedral to being the organist at St Paul's Cathedral in London. So he also became involved in music printing, and in 1599 he published the first ever book of songs for voice and lute, and that book contained this song. It's a setting of words by Shakespeare, and we're going to sing it for you now. The chorus is written, and if you want to join in with us, please do. Thank you. It Come follow. Yeah. Come follow is a round. We have the composer here, John Hilton, and he took a degree in music at Cambridge, and he graduated in 1616, and in 1628 became organist at St Margaret's Church next to Westminster Abbey in London. So round singing was tremendously popular in those days, in the taverns, the pubs, in other words, or wherever people got together, because round singing is so delightfully easy, really. You know, you're all singing the same thing, but at different times. And it's fun, and it sounds all right. Sounds a bit of a jumble, as a matter of fact, but we're going to try and make it sound sensible, and we're going to attempt it in 3 parts. First of all, we sing it in unison for you, and then in 3 parts. Rounds were often very bawdy, rude songs, as a matter of fact, and even the poet Milton, we have a round with the words like the poet Milton, and the words are very rude indeed. So, our next song is a ballad, which is a song that tells a story. Yeah? It's always been a very, very popular form of music. And people get together, they tell stories, and sometimes they tell stories set to music. And this is one of these. And you see where it dates from by the slide. In 1666, Samuel Pepys, the great diarist, attended a New Year's party. And there he heard this lady, dear Mrs. Nip, sing the lovely song, What He's Got Barbary Allen. Yeah. So the story is one that's been set in and enacted in many times. And it's this. Basically, it's this. He falls for her. She repudiates him. Yeah. He is devastated. He becomes wasted away. Yeah. He dies. She is then struck with remorse. So she dies too. Yeah. That's the story. Here we are. She is persuaded to visit him when he's on his deathbed. And all she says, as she walks up to the deathbed, is, young man, I think you're dying. Yeah. and to leave, so we doubt. It's a great song.
They date from the 18th century,
18th century, 1700s, and this was the era of slave trading, when in this country, I think almost the national economy was based on the slave trade, and these songs are in some way connected with it. So you know what the trade was. The ship set out from one of our ports, Bristol, Liverpool, Lancaster, and sailed to West Africa, where it unloaded all the goods it had taken to sell, make a profit there, and then it loaded up with slaves, and they were taken over to the West Indies and sold on the slave market. And then the ship was loaded up with the produce of the West Indies, rum, sugar mainly, and brought back here. Very, very profitable trading indeed. And everybody was up to the eyes in investing in it. Well then, I'm going to tell you a little story now about a young man called Robert Giller. Oops, just let me turn on music. Robert Giller was born in Singleton, Lancashire, in 1704, and he served an apprenticeship as a ship's carpenter. And 10 years later, at the age of only 16, he sailed from Lancaster as a ship's carpenter. His job was fitting up cabins and doing any necessary work that was needed in that way. Now, the ship he was on was no doubt a slaving ship, because Lancaster was up to the eyes in it. And when he got to the West Indies, Jamaica actually, he became interested in a tree that he hadn't seen before. And he cut some branches off this tree and made them into planks and brought them back with him to Lancaster. And this was the first mahogany ever introduced into this country. It's the produce of 2 or 3 different trees that grow over there. I can't just tell you their names, they're too long and complicated. Anyway, 10 years later, at the age of only 26, he founded and opened the firm of Gillow of Lancaster. You've heard of it? Yeah. And it quickly established a reputation for the production of high-quality, polished mahogany furniture. I'm sure that all our grandparents had some beautiful, polished mahogany furniture that they were very proud of. So the firm prospered and flourished all through the 1700s and the 1800s, and in 1903 only, for financial reasons, it went into partnership with a Liverpool company called Waring and was renamed Waring and Gillow. Yeah. And we all remember Waring and Gillow of Lancaster, I'm sure. Anyway, back to our song. It's a sad one. It's the docks, like railway stations and airports, and are places of sadness for some people, where they're saying goodbye to a loved one. And here our sailor in Liverpool is saying goodbye to his girl and assuring her that when he comes back, he'll marry her. Was that the leader, a leader would make up, lines, and everybody else would join in with the chorus, you see. So they made them up as they went along. So the leader would make up a line like, "A merry monarch Henry was, a man of strength and power," and then everybody would join in, "Way, haul away, we'll haul away, Joe." And then the leader would go on. But when a wife offended him, he put her in the tower, and they sing, "Way, haul away, haul away." And their song could go on forever and ever, yeah? Because he'll keep on making up new ones. So it's fun. And so we're going to do that one for you now. Thank you. To the later 18th century, and we have two songs from that era. And this one, we know the date, the composer, and we know the date of publication, because it's written there. Now, the poet, Leonard MacNally, married a Yorkshire girl called Frances Lansall. And he married her in 1787. Her family owned a property in Richmond, Yorkshire, called Hill House, and hence he christened her the Lass of Richmond Hill. Yeah? And that's how it came about. Well, the song became enormously popular. And when it reached London, of course, they thought they'd never heard of Richmond. Is it Yorkshire? I didn't say Lancashire. It's Yorkshire. They don't know that. So they thought it was Richmond, London. Yeah. And this happened a lot. Have we got the pub, Maureen? Yeah. The pub. This is to this day. This pub is there. It's on the internet. Lass of Richmond Hill, and apparently there were pubs all over the place called the Lass of Richmond Hill, so it became a very, very popular song. But anyway, we know better. she's definitely of the north. And you may well have sung this song at school. Am I seeing people nodding? Right, yeah, we did. So the chorus is up there for you to join in with if you'd like to. Yeah. Oh, but first of all, I must tell you that he commissioned an artist to paint this picture of her, and it really is a picture of her. So that really is the Lass of Richmond Hill there. Another traditional song, composer unknown. We all know it, I'm sure. Creek to near only. It's another song of unrequited love. The poor fellow is offering everything, and she simply sends it back again. And it's a lovely song, and I just hope you enjoy it, and that you can sing it along with us. Oh, thank you.
To
Now we have two spirituals to sing for you. We don't know when these date from, but from the days probably after the abolition of slavery, but the slave people were still around and they were very musical. I know this is a big generalisation, but I believe African people are very musical. You know, very, very musical. I once attended a lecture by a nun who was a missionary there in school, and she said if they taught a hymn to the girls' school, they taught a hymn, they would just put it into 3 parts automatically without any tuition, which is an amazing thing to do. So this was how these spirituals came about, really. Both composer Dvorak went to America towards the end of the 19th century, and he said he sat in the evening listening to the sound of he said slaves, but maybe they weren't slaves by then, I don't know, singing as it drifted across, and it was very beautiful. So we've got here the first one, which I'm sure you know, is Steal Away to Jesus. Yeah? So, have we one before that, Maureen? Yes, that is Stealing Away to Jesus, yeah. Entering the gates of paradise, you see. Let us imagine it's an old man, and he's had enough, and he wants to die. Yeah. But it's not a terribly sad song, because his faith is so great that he's absolutely sure he knows he's going on to better things. Yeah. So that's it. final song I have for you is the second spiritual, Let My People Go. And where Pharaoh, Moses is going to Pharaoh to say, God says, you've got to let us go. And if you don't, you're in for it. There's going to be all those plagues and something even worse at the end of it. You're going to lose your son. Yeah? So it was a threatening song. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your warm appreciation of our efforts. Three of our choir members have been in the choir ever since it started in 2007. You may guess who they are if you like, but we might appreciate it. It wouldn't be complete without us saying thank yous, particularly to our accompanist Chris. Chris is always highly... Not an easy role to fulfill, being the accompanist, but also Wynne, our musical director, has led us for just over a year. She's put enormous vigour and enthusiasm into it, in addition to all the other things she does in U3A, and she's made stupendous efforts into this programme and getting it ready for today and getting us back to performing, which we haven't really done for 4 years. So our very, very great thanks to Wynne as well. And if you fancy joining us singing for pleasure, we meet twice a month down the road at Claremont Church, and we don't require any auditions, so do come along. Thank you.
Still. Well, I don't know about you, but I've been amazed and astounded and delighted by our marvellous choir. I think the range of voices and the harmonies and the strength of how you sang was much more than I expected. So it's been absolutely marvellous having you here, singing for us. I hope this will be an annual fixture. Right, well, we'll just have to see, won't we, if that can be organised again. Now then, one other thing to say is, you might have seen Ted here, one of our members, videoing this. We have quite a few videos now on our website, but if anybody doesn't want to be shown on YouTube and the internet and things like that, please let Ted know, and then he can do some editing. He's very good at editing. Okay? So, finally then, please put your hands together one last time for our Singing for Pleasure group, and then we'll go and have some